Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Goldsmith. I'm the Executive Director of the Free State Project. Thank you. Yes. Welcome to the 2018 State of the Free State. I'm so glad that we could all be here. And I want to thank BJ and Jocelyn for running such an incredible event. So, I know you're all excited to get straight into the raw data. That's one of my favorite things to do, too, so let's jump right in. In 2018, we welcomed 343 new Free Staters to New Hampshire. Yeah. You probably met some of them on the New Movers panel, and some of them are in this room right now, and so we're really excited to welcome you to the Liberty community and the Liberty family in New Hampshire. Welcome home. Yeah, welcome. New Free Staters, please raise your hands. Did you guys get your welcome bags yet? Some of you are recent learners about the FSP. You just found out about it maybe this year, and we're so compelled by the idea that you signed right up and got your butts here to New Hampshire. And some people are extremely early signers. And so we're very excited that our outreach efforts have been able to reach both new people to the idea and to get people who have been inspired by the idea for a long time to actually get their butts in gear to New Hampshire. We also we welcomed 1,375 new signers and subscribers. Yeah, so pretty cool. Since we triggered the move in 2016, that was the 20,000 signer mark. We have close to 25,000 signers right now. So, real talk, we're not really expecting, based on the numbers that we're looking at, we're not expecting to see those 20,000 original signers move, in part because some of them are, literally dead. So moving forward means getting brand new signers, means getting new people to learn about this idea, and means getting people here in state to start building our community within New Hampshire and to start reaching out to our friends and neighbors and getting them on board with participating in liberty activism, whatever that means to them. So in terms of our national outreach, in 2018, we had 6,394 new likes on Facebook, over 1,000 post shares, 1.2 million impressions on Twitter. We average over 100 engagements on our posts on Instagram, 767.1 thousand minutes of content watched on YouTube. Yeah, so, and of course, we're also expanding beyond the traditional 3 social media platforms, and are on MeWe, we're on Minds, and we're looking towards, lots of different platforms to get the content of freedom to as many people as possible so that they can start to appreciate the value of bringing a community together. We have also built a beautiful new website. And the website does a couple of really important things. It improves the user experience for people who are learning more about the FSP. They have a chance now to learn a lot of really deep details in a way that we hope is very intuitive to them. It also gives us the opportunity from the back end to track the user journey. So we see what pages they arrive on, how they navigate through the website, and we can do A/B testing that allows us to improve not only their experience, but the tracking that we do to get more people on here. It improves the content submission process. So a lot of people here have given us great content like new mover stories, information about strategies to get jobs or housing, new mover logistics. As I said, we have a lot of information about what region might be something interesting for a potential mover. So raise your hand if you've submitted something to the website. All right, that's a pretty solid number. There you go. So if you haven't, and you have something that you think a mover might be interested in learning more about, or somebody who is interested in the FSP might want to know, we're happy to take any new submissions and work it into Google Ads and SEO and everything. The FSP is nothing without you guys. And so everything that we have on the website is from users, from our participants. And so, of course, we want every perspective that we can get. We also have a beautiful chat feature, which allows potential movers to take a look and to very low-key, like, hey, what's up, kind of conversate with us. So that goes straight to me and Chris's inbox. So if you want to, like, anonymously troll us, that's a very good way to do it. We ran 2 incredible events in 2018. Liberty Forum last year was a wonderful experience as well. And Pork Fest was great. So I'm very grateful to the Gibsons and to the Paxtons and to all of the volunteers who made those events what they were. So thanks, guys. We attended about half a dozen conferences. We were welcomed as speakers. We were welcomed as exhibitors. As a result, we were able to bring the message of liberty in New Hampshire to a lot more people, and we talked to a lot of students, especially seemed excited about the idea. But 6 conferences in a year is not my, I'm not proud of it, but, we did it. So there it is. Next, please. Okay, so that's all, the outreach that FSP Inc. does, right? But what do people do when they get here? And while I was at those conferences, I would tell people kind of hyperbolically, at least from my perspective, the FSP in New Hampshire has over 600 Liberty meetups a year. Now, that's a fact. But I would say that's more than the rest of the country combined. And if you do any math in your head, you'd have to say, what? Every state, the 49 other states don't have, 10 meetups a year. That sounds crazy, right? So I was thinking, of course, people would be calling me out on this. And nobody has ever called me out on it. They just believe it. So, how bad is it out there? Not here. We run the Free Coast Fest. We run the Free State Blockchain and Digital Assets Conference. We run LRP meetups and beach days. We run Liberty Tuesday. We run Merrimack Valley Porcupines, New Movers Party, the Bitcoin or crypto meetup in Manchester, in Berlin, in Keene, in Portsmouth. I mean, is there a Bitcoin meetup that Derek J is not at? What meetups am I missing? Nashua Liberty. There you go. Ladies of Liberty Luncheon. We got, what is it? Taproom Tuesdays. Thank you. Liberty Markets. Thank you. There's a roving meetup in the Free Coast that happens. New Movers Party. Yeah, so there's tons of stuff. We have potlucks that happen in friends' homes and don't necessarily get advertised to the public, but are semi-publicly available. So it's just an incredible experience to know that every single day you could go to 2 or more events if you had the time and gas money. What else are people doing when they get here? The 3 major prongs, I think, of what the Free State Project does in our community is that we're working within politics and within the system. Our friends at the AFP, at GIPAC, at the NHLP, the NHLA, Women's Defense League, all of our participants are volunteering the way that they see fit. They're running for office. They're winning offices. We have 19 plus, there you go, 19 plus Free Staters in the House. So way to go, guys. Politics may not be your thing. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. We've got new businesses, we have new hires, we have new capital that we're bringing to New Hampshire. We are a positive influence on this state, and it's getting harder and harder to deny that. We've socially, I love this new hashtag the pork stork. How many new babies did we have in 2018? It's too many to count. There's one. And have they signed? And how many people were visited by the pork stork at PorkFest this year? We have new community centers that are being built and being rebuilt. We're becoming a hub for podcasting, for Liberty podcasting around the world, thanks to Pax Libertas, thanks to LRN, and thanks to lots of people who are independently producing great content. So, again, all of this is because of you and not me. So very, very grateful to have you guys here and supporting this movement, and I think it's a really good one. So what is the FSP Inc.'s goals for 2019? Number one, in terms of outreach, I would like to double our conference attendance. And I think that the ROI on that is pretty solid. We do a great job when we connect with new speakers and new attendees for our events. We have a great new Facebook messaging campaign that I'm super excited to talk about. So some of our oldest FSP groups and pages have tens and close to 100,000 likes, or follows. And some of these people haven't interacted with us in, a decade. So what are they up to? One of our plans is to message every single person on Facebook who has interacted with the Free State Project and let them know that we're here to help them get their butts in gear. We'll be calling all of our recent signers. So we did call all of the first 20,000, and as I said, we've had about 5,000 since then. So we're going to go around. We did this maybe 2 years ago, I think we went around and did calling parties. And so this year, we'll be going to every single region and bringing you a list of new signers with phone numbers. And if you'd like to participate, Chris and I will be organizing that in the next coming weeks. Our last main focus of outreach is make the FSP a household name. You may have heard about this campaign. I think podcasting is absolutely the future of Liberty content production, and we are going to get the FSP's name in every single Liberty podcast that we can afford. And so we recently started raising money for this, and actually on February 2nd, we had our first ad / mention on Dave Smith's Part of the Problem. That was, it was. If you listen to it, he's really genuine with what he's saying. I think he actually believes it. So I was looking into the numbers, and we get about 2-ish signers a day. After his initial mention, we started getting 6 signers a day. That was sustained for about almost a week. It's been. So I think that there's a lot of promise behind this, and I'm very excited to talk more about it. And Vince Perfetto is going to be running this mission, and so if you have a chance to connect with him and talk to him a little bit more about it, then I look forward to that conversation happening. Now, a lot of these projects are things that we need volunteers for. How do you become a volunteer? One way is to reach out to either Chris or I, and we will plug you in. The other way is to go to fsp.org/volunteers. There's a form that you can sign with information about what kind of volunteer you're good at being. We have lots of different projects. We also have 2 major events that require tons of volunteer hours. And so if you're interested in volunteering for PorkFest or for Liberty Forum next year, this is a great place to go to. Let us know. We currently have less than 1% donor participation. That means that of the 25,000 signers that we have, approximately 250 or less of them have given in the last year. Raise your hand if you've given in the last year. Now, that's a solid number, and I really love all of you guys for doing that. So let's give you a round of applause. Thanks. My goal this year is to get us to 25%. So I think that we can do that through monthly contributions of $15, $50, $5, whatever works for your budget. And I'm going to start here right now. I'm going to call on people. I'm going to say, stand up if you're ready to pledge to become a monthly donor. So please, stand on up if you're ready. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. All right, I'm taking down names. Wait, don't sit down. So, yeah, that's pretty much my whole pitch. So thank you guys all for coming to Liberty Forum and for being a part of this community. And I want to right now get all of our Liberty Forum volunteers up here so we can take some pictures and thank them. Yeah, so if you're a Liberty Forum volunteer, get your butt onto the stage. Okay, get off the stage. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut people off. If you have questions, I suppose I'll take questions. The microphone is right over there if you're a curious person. Okay, if nobody has any questions, then I think the next thing that we're doing is oh, there he is. I think Steve.
The room
was
is
first.
So packed we had trouble getting over here.
I think Steve was first last year too.
I didn't ask a question last year.
Oh.
I'm going to. Someone who asked a question last year would probably want some follow-up about a certain radio show host coming to Liberty Forum, and he gave you some time to think about it. It's been a year, so we're going to put you on the spot.
So I am very happy to have conversations with LRN in general, and actually Mark Edge and I have had multiple conversations on where we're going and how we can work together in the future. And so we're happy to continue those conversations is kind of the status right now. I know that's kicking the ball down the field again, but... all right, I'm not even going to say conversations.
So, Rachel, when is PorkFest this year? And are tickets currently available at a discount? And where might one find such tickets?
Go to porkfest.com for more information about PorkFest. It's June 17th through the 25th? 18th to 23rd. 18th through the 23rd? That's what I say, like, 17th through the 25th. People will get there when they get there.
You mentioned event organizers as being something that is needed. Like, what are some of the other things that people can do to volunteer that is in high demand? Like, what are we desperate for?
So we do get a lot of messages through the various platforms that we are available on. And a lot of the questions are things that, I mean, there's just such a wide range of information that people want to know. And because we do have a pretty interesting and diverse website already, some of the questions are like, what was John Stark's platform? You know, when did New Hampshire ratify? You know, and it's like things that I could potentially Google, but also what's the vaccines that are required for living in New Hampshire? And so, if you have an area of expertise that you feel prepared to answer some pretty in-depth questions on, that's the kind of thing that we could really use, especially for referrals, not necessarily to be on call at all given times, but as someone that we could say, you know, I don't know the answer to that question, but here's someone who does. Chris knows literally everybody in the world, so she's very good at referrals, but I'm not quite as good as she is. So.
maybe somebody could start an Ask a Pork, like Ask a Lawyer, and people could be signed up as the expert in this field. And when people post online on a Facebook group, it just automatically gets sent to their phone, and they can respond via their phone.
Yeah, I don't know the technical. I don't have the technical background to make that happen, but if you do, then come on board. Sounds like you're volunteering to make that happen.
If New Hampshire gets a broad-based sales or income tax, will it be harder to promote New Hampshire as a free state?
I mean, right now I think New Hampshire is the freest state in the country, and I don't let any other metric tell me differently. Second in the country. Come on. Are you on the board or what? But yes, that would be a challenging sale.
Hey, so as some folks know, my favorite form of activism is social activism. And so what I'd like to ask is...
How many babies have you had?
Not for my lack of trying. My question is, how can I be the best ambassador for the Free State Project to friends, to associates, to people I know, to work the social angle while other people are working political angles, technological angles, things like that I'm not as apt in?
I mean, my perspective is that everybody is in love with freedom in America. Everybody has at least one passion issue that they don't want the government involved in. And so whenever I'm speaking with a friend or family member, the more I know them, obviously, the more I can kind of pinpoint what that passion point is for them. And then say, well, just be logically consistent and expand your beliefs. So I think having real conversations with our real friends is the best way to communicate liberty.
Agreed. Thank you.
Hey, Rachel.
Hey,
Thanks for coming to New Hampshire and having babies and raising them to be biker anarchists or whatever your plans are for Warner. I think that's what you told me one day. And obviously taking on this job that can't be easy. Today, we were talking up in Alt Expo room about the benefit for free Ross, and at least 4 people said to me, that auction you did was really awesome. You doing that again? And I said, I don't know. So I talked to Lynn. She said if we could pull it off, let's do it this evening during a free Ross thing. I'd like the auction we did at Soapbox Idol. And so it's not part of the schedule. Yes, I am kind of in a roundabout way like hijacking it by even talking about it. I got a couple of things donated, but if we can do this and anybody wants to donate some stuff towards a benefit, I'll do the auctioneering thing. Lynn was like, love to do it. I just talked to her, and I just came down here to, bring some awareness about it. So if anybody wants to come talk to me, wants to donate something, we got a few things donated already. And obviously, if this is possible, and like I said, Lynn loves it, she'd like to do it, potentially for about 9 o'clock or something she was thinking. I
think that's a wonderful idea. And actually, we have, up in the Pork Family Connection room, been working on a piece of art that's been contributed to by some of the kids. And we're planning on auctioning that off. So maybe we can, include these additional items in the auction. I think it's between the 2 pieces of entertainment that we have already scheduled. So I think that's a great addition, and I appreciate you offering it.
Awesome. Well, I'll be here and just talk to me about it in a little bit.
Just to follow up on that, I believe what we're going to do as far as that auction goes is it's going to be between the first and second set of the band. So it's going to be a little bit before 10 o'clock. All right?
Thank you for the update on schedule.
How many Free Staters would you need in the House of Representatives of New Hampshire before the Free State Project would be comfortable issuing a New Hampshire Declaration of Independence?
So that's kind of a loaded question. The Free State Project is not a secessionist movement. So I don't know. I'm not responsible for what Free Staters choose to do when they get here, and if someone wants to sponsor a bill, then that's kind of that's on them. So there are at least 19 of them here. I'm sure that they're open to your lobbying.
So I was wondering if you had a follow-up about a flyer for PorkFest or the Free State Project in general. For myself, it's a really easy tool for me to use to get people on board and checking it out. Not volunteering again.
You're asking
not
if there's like a piece of paper with information about PorkFest?
A flyer, yeah. We used to have a flyer.
I don't think we have anything prepared now, but again, porkfest.com is the website, so everyone carries their phone on them at all times. It's like, pretend like you're environmental.
Yeah.
Right, save the trees.
So just because the issue of secession came up, I thought I would share. A few years ago, a bill was before the House of Representatives in New Hampshire that was more or less a copy and paste of the Kentucky resolutions that laid out a bunch of lines in the sand that said that if the federal government does any one of these areas of overreach, we no longer recognize the authority of the Constitution because the federal government has trashed it too much. And I know a couple of the people who are in this room were among the hundreds of activists that we had on the State House steps when that bill was heard. There were a number of Free Staters in the legislature at that time. So suffice to say, the Free State Project, as you know, doesn't take any position, but many of the Free Staters are very active towards taking specific steps to achieving a secessionist end.
Okay, well, all right, you have 5, 4, 3. It's a good thing you're a runner.
All right, so I guess I will ask the final question. If you could be any fruit in the world, what fruit would you be? And would you be a pizza topping?
Any fruit?
Yes.
A pineapple, for sure. And it is a pizza topping. And I'm not going to back down on that. Thank you all for coming to Liberty Forum, and have a great night.